Question 1. Which ancient civilization built a large wall across northern England to defend against the Picts? A. Romans, B. Vikings, C. Anglo-Saxons, D. Normans. Answers is A. Romans. Hadrian's Wall was built by the Romans in the century AD to protect their province of Britannia from tribes to the north, particularly the Picts in what is now Scotland. Question 2. What significant event occurred in 1066, leading to a new ruling class in England? A. The Battle of Hastings, B. The Roman invasion, C. The Magna signing, D. The English Civil War. Answers is A. The Battle of Hastings. The Battle of Hastings in 1066 was a pivotal moment in English history, resulting in the Norman conquest led by William the Conqueror and a profound change in the English aristocracy and language. Question 3. Who was the monarch during the Spanish Armada's attempt to invade England in 1588? A. Elizabeth I. B. Henry C. Victoria D. James I. Answers is A. Elizabeth I. Queen Elizabeth I was the monarch of England when the Spanish Armada attempted to invade in 1588. Her leadership and the successful repulsion of the Armada marked a significant moment in British history. Question 4. Which English king was forced to sign the Magna in 1215, limiting royal power? A. King John, B. King Richard I, C. King Henry, D. King Edward. Answers is A. King John. King John was compelled by his barons to sign the Magna in 1215. This document is a cornerstone of English law and established principles of limited government and individual rights. Question 5. What major global conflict began in 1914 and involved the British Empire? A. The First World War, B. The Second World War, C. The Crimean War, D. The Wars. Answers is A. The First World War. The First World War, also known as the Great War, began in 1914 and had a profound impact on Britain and its empire, leading to significant social and political changes. Question 6. In which century did the Industrial Revolution primarily begin in Britain? A. Century, B. Century, C. Century, D. Century. Answers is A. Century. The Industrial Revolution, by major innovations in textile manufacturing, steam power and iron production, predominantly began in Britain during the century. Question 7. What is the name of the legislative body consisting of the House of Commons and the House of Lords? A. Parliament, B. The Cabinet, C. The Privy Council, D. The Supreme Court. Answers is A. Parliament. The legislative body is known as Parliament, which comprises the elected House of Commons and the appointed or hereditary House of Lords. It is responsible for making laws. Question 8. Who is the head of government in the A. The Prime Minister, B. The Monarch, C. The Speaker of the House, D. The Lord Chancellor. Answers is A. The Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the head of Her Majesty's government in the United Kingdom. They lead the cabinet and are typically the leader of the party with the majority in the House of Commons. Question 9. What is the capital city of England? A. London, B. Edinburgh, C. Cardiff, D. Belfast. Answers is A. London. London is the capital and largest city of England and the United Kingdom. It is a major global financial, cultural and political centre. Question 10. Which flower is traditionally associated with England? A. Rose, B. Thistle, C. Daffodil, D. Shamrock. Answers is A. Rose. The rose has been the national flower of England, for famously associated with the Wars of the Roses and the Tudor dynasty. Question 11. What is the name of the service established in 1948 to provide free healthcare for all citizens? A. National Health Service, B. Royal Medical Society, C. British Red Cross, D. Public Health England. Answers is A. National Health Service. The National Health Service was established in 1948 and is a publicly funded healthcare system, providing comprehensive medical care to all residents, largely free at the point of use. Question 12. Which major war ended in 1945, seeing the defeat of Nazi Germany? A. The Second World War, B. The First World War, C. The Boer War, D. The War. Answers is A. The Second World War. The Second World War, a global conflict that began in 1939, in 1945, with the Allied victory over the Axis powers, including Nazi Germany. Question 13. Which part of the uses the symbol of a thistle? A. Scotland, B. England, C. Wales, D. Northern Ireland. Answers is A. Scotland. The thistle is the national emblem of Scotland. Legend says it saved Scottish warriors from an ambush by Norse invaders. Question 14. What is the highest mountain in the A. Ben Nevis, B. Mount Snowdon, C. Pike, D. Answers is A. Ben Nevis. Ben Nevis in Scotland is the highest mountain in the United Kingdom, standing at an elevation of 345 metres above sea level. Question 15. In which city is the Globe Theatre associated with William Shakespeare? A. London, B. C. Edinburgh, D. Manchester. Answers is A. London. The Globe Theatre, a reconstruction of Shakespeare's original playhouse, is on the south bank of the River Thames in London. Question 16. What is the purpose of jury service in the legal system? A. To decide if a defendant is guilty or not guilty. B. To sentence convicted criminals. C. To present evidence in court. D. To advise the judge on legal matters. Answers is A. To decide if a defendant is guilty or not guilty. Jury service is a fundamental part of the legal system, where a group of ordinary citizens listens to evidence and decides whether a defendant is guilty or not guilty based on the facts presented. Question 17. When is George's Day celebrated in England? A. 23 April, B. 17 March, C. 1 March, D. 30 November. Answers is A. 23 April. George's Day, the National Day of England, is celebrated annually on 23 April. George is the patron saint of England. Question 18. What is the name of the river that flows through London? A. River Thames, B. River Severn, C. River Clyde, D. River Trent. Answers is A. River Thames. The River Thames is the longest river entirely within England and in the United Kingdom. It flows through central London. Question 19. Which famous British children's author characters like Peter Rabbit? A. Beatrix Potter, B. Doll, C. C.S. Lewis, D. J.K. Answers is A. Beatrix Potter. Beatrix Potter was an English writer, illustrator, natural scientist, and conservationist best known for her children's books featuring animal characters such as Peter Rabbit. Question 20. What is the collective name for the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms that existed in England before the Norman conquest? A. Heptarchy, B. Danelaw, C. Wessex, D. Mercia. Answers is A. Heptarchy. The term heptarchy refers to the 7 main Anglo-Saxon kingdoms: Northumbria, Mercia, East, Essex, Kent, Sussex and Wessex, that's southern and eastern Britain during the Anglo-Saxon period. Question 21. What is the main role of the House of Commons in the Parliament? A. To make laws and scrutinise government, B. To advise the monarch on legal matters, C. To manage the judicial system, D. To appoint judges and civil servants. Answers is A. To make laws and scrutinise government. The House of Commons is the primary legislative body of the Parliament. Its main roles are to debate proposed laws, pass legislation, and hold the government accountable. Question 22. Which monarch initiated the English Reformation, breaking away from the Roman Catholic Church? A. Henry, B. Elizabeth I, C. Mary I, D. Edward. Answers is A. Henry. King Henry the English Reformation in the century, primarily to annul his marriage and establish the Church of England, with himself as its head. Question 23. What is the capital city of Scotland? A. Edinburgh, B. Glasgow, C. Aberdeen, D. Dundee. Answers is A. Edinburgh. Edinburgh is the capital city of Scotland, renowned for its historic castle, Royal Mile and annual festival. Question 24. Which document, signed in 1689, established parliamentary supremacy and rights for citizens? A. The Bill of Rights, B. The Magna, C. The Act of Union, D. The Great Reform Act. Answers is A. The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights 1689 established the supremacy of Parliament over the monarch, laid out individual rights, and set the stage for a constitutional monarchy in England. Question 25. What is the national sport of England widely played across the country? A. Cricket, B. Football, soccer, C. Rugby, D. Tennis. Answers is A. Cricket. While football is immensely popular, cricket is considered the national sport of England, with a rich history and strong presence in British culture. Question 26. Which famous English poet wrote the Canterbury Tales? A. B. William Shakespeare, C. John Milton, D. William. Answers is A. Often called the father of English literature, is widely considered the greatest English poet of the Middle Ages, known for the Canterbury Tales. Question 27. What is the traditional meal often eaten on a Sunday in the A. Sunday roast, B. Fish and chips, C. Full English breakfast, D. Shepherd's pie? Answers is A. Sunday roast. The Sunday roast, typically consisting of roasted meat, roast potatoes, vegetables, and gravy, is a traditional British meal usually served on Sunday. Question 28. In the What is the minimum age at which a person can vote in a general election? A. 18, B. 16, C. 21, D. 17. Answers is A. 18. In the United Kingdom, citizens are eligible to vote in general elections, local elections, and referendums from the age of 18. Question 29. Which Scottish engineer is credited with making significant improvements to the steam engine during the Industrial Revolution? A. James Watt, B. George, C. Kingdom, D. Richard. Answers is A. James Watt. James Watt, a Scottish inventor and mechanical engineer, significantly improved the steam engine in the late century, which was crucial to the Industrial Revolution. Question 30. Which British Prime Minister led the country during most of the Second World War? A. Churchill, B. Chamberlain, C. Clement, D. Thatcher. Answers is A. Churchill. Churchill was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1940 to 1945, and again from 1951 to 1955. He is widely remembered for his leadership during World War. Question 31. What is the capital city of Wales? A. Cardiff, B. Swansea, C. Newport, D. Answers is A. Cardiff. Cardiff is the capital and largest city of Wales. It is a major economic and cultural centre. Question 32. Which flower is the national emblem of Wales? A. Daffodil, B. Rose, C. Thistle, D. Shamrock. Answers is A. Daffodil. The daffodil is the national flower of Wales, often worn on David's Day, their national day on 1 March. Question 33. What is the name of the Legislative Assembly in Scotland? A. The Scottish Parliament, B. The Scottish Assembly, C. The Scottish Council, D. The Scottish Parliament House. Answers is A. The Scottish Parliament. The Scottish Parliament, or Holyrood, is the devolved national legislature of Scotland, with the power to make laws on a range of matters. Question 34. Which famous Scottish poet and lyricist is celebrated annually on 25 January? A. Robert Burns, B. Walter Scott, C. Robert Louis, D. Arthur. Answers is A. Robert Burns. Robert Burns, widely regarded as the national poet of Scotland, is celebrated with Burns Night Suppers on 25 January each year. Question 35. What is the common name for the Legislative Assembly in Wales? A. Senedd Cymru Welsh Parliament, B. The Welsh Assembly, C. The National Assembly for Wales, D. The Welsh Council. Answers is A. Senedd Cymru Welsh Parliament. The Senedd Cymru, or Welsh Parliament, is the devolved national legislature of Wales, with powers to make laws for Wales. Question 36. Which battle in 1707 the union of England and Scotland, forming Great Britain? A. There was no battle, it was an act of union. B. The Battle of C. The Battle of Bannockburn. D. The Battle of. Answers is A. There was no battle, it was an act of union. The Act of Union in 1707 was a political agreement, not a battle, that formally united the Kingdom of England and the Kingdom of Scotland into the Kingdom of Great Britain. Question 37. What is the legal age to purchase alcohol in the A. 18, B. 16, C. 21, D. 17? Answers is A. 18. In the United Kingdom, the legal age for purchasing alcohol in pubs, bars, or shops is 18 years old. Question 38. Which monarch ruled for over 63 years during a period of significant imperial expansion and industrial growth? A. Queen Victoria. B. Queen Elizabeth I. C. Queen Elizabeth. D. King George. Answers is A. Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria reigned from 1837 to 1901, a period known as the Victorian era, by the peak of the British Empire and rapid industrial and social change. Question 39. What is the name of the patron saint of Northern Ireland, celebrated on 17 March? A. Saint. B. Saint George. C. Saint Andrew. D. Saint David. Answers is A. Saint. Saint is the patron saint of Ireland, and his feast day is celebrated annually on 17 March, particularly in Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Question 40. What is the role of the monarch in the today? A. Head of state. B. Head of government. C. Head of parliament. D. Head of the judiciary. Answers is A. Head of state. The monarch is the head of state in the A. largely ceremonial role, while the Prime Minister is the head of government. The monarch acts as a symbol of national unity and tradition. Question 41. Which British victory in 1805 its naval dominance for the next century? A. Battle of. B. Battle of Waterloo. C. Battle of Britain. D. Battle of. Answers is A. Battle of. The Battle of in 1805, where Admiral Nelson's fleet decisively defeated the combined French and Spanish established British naval supremacy for over 100 years. Question 42. Who was the founder of the National Health Service? A. B. William. C. Clement. D. Churchill. Answers is A. The Minister of Health in Clement Labour government is widely considered the architect and founder of the National Health Service in 1948. Question 43. Which sport in England and is known for its test matches? A. Cricket. B. Baseball. C. Basketball. D. American football. Answers is A. Cricket. Cricket is a game that, in England, test cricket matches are renowned for lasting up to 5 days. Question 44. What is the name of the traditional British pudding made with suet and dried fruit? A. Christmas pudding. B. Apple crumble. C. Sticky toffee pudding. D. Trifle. Answers is A. Christmas pudding. Christmas pudding, also known as plum pudding, is a type of pudding traditionally served as part of the Christmas dinner in Britain. It is typically very dark, heavy, and made with suet and dried fruit. Question 45. Which major event in 1666 destroyed much of London? A. The Great Fire of London. B. The Black Death. C. The Blitz. D. The Revolt. Answers is A. The Great Fire of London. The Great Fire of London in 1666, a large part of the city, destroying thousands of homes, cathedral, and many other buildings. Question 46. What is the full name of the current King of the United Kingdom? A. Charles. B. William. V. C. George. D. Philip I. Answers is A. Charles. King Charles ascended to the throne on 8 September 2022, following the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth. Question 47. Which famous British scientist developed the theory of evolution by natural selection? A. Charles. B. Isaac Newton. C. Stephen Hawking. D. Alan. Answers is A. Charles. Charles was an English naturalist, geologist, and biologist, best known for his contributions to the science of evolution, proposing that all species of life have descended over time from common ancestors. Question 48. What is the purpose of the devolved governments in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland? A. To make decisions on specific matters within their regions. B. To replace the Parliament. C. To advise the Prime Minister. D. To handle all foreign policy. Answers is A. To make decisions on specific matters within their regions. Devolved governments in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland have powers to make decisions and laws on matters such as education, health, and justice specific to their respective regions, while the Parliament retains control over reserved matters. Question 49. Which famous London landmark is A. Clock Tower at the Palace of Westminster? A. Big Ben Elizabeth Tower. B. The Shard. C. Tower Bridge. D. London Eye. Answers is A. Big Ben Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben is the nickname for the Great Bell of the iconic clock tower, officially named Elizabeth Tower, at the northern end of the Palace of Westminster in London. Question 50. What is A. responsibility of all citizens? A. To obey the law. B. To join the armed forces. C. To volunteer for charity work. D. To speak English. Answers is A. To obey the law. A fundamental responsibility of all citizens and residents in the is to obey the law. This ensures order and fairness within society. Question 51. Which English naval commander is famous for his victory at the Battle of A. Admiral Lord Nelson. B. Sir Francis Drake. C. Captain James Cook. D. Walter Raleigh. Answers is A. Admiral Lord Nelson. Admiral Lord Nelson was a celebrated British naval commander who famously led the British fleet to victory against the French and Spanish at the Battle of in 1805, where he was fatally wounded. Question 52. What is the name of the agreement that established A. executive in Northern Ireland in 1998? A. The Good Friday Agreement. B. The Anglo-Irish Treaty. C. The Belfast Agreement. D. The Downing Street Declaration. Answers is A. The Good Friday Agreement. The Good Friday Agreement, also known as the Belfast Agreement, was signed in 1998, bringing an end to most of the violence of the Troubles in Northern Ireland and establishing a government. Question 53. Who was the first female Prime Minister of the A. Thatcher, B. May, C. Elizabeth, D. Harman? Answers is A. Thatcher. Thatcher served as Prime Minister from 1979 to 1990, becoming the first woman to hold the office and the British Prime Minister of the century. Question 54. Which famous Roman city in Britain is known for its baths? A. Bath, B. York, C. Chester, D. Answers is A. Bath. The city of Bath, originally named by the Romans, is famous for its natural hot springs and the remarkably preserved Roman baths complex. Question 55. Which English composer is known for pieces like Pomp and Circumstance marches? A. Edward, B. Benjamin, C. D. Henry. Answers is A. Edward. Sir Edward was an English composer whose works include the Enigma and the Pomp and Circumstance marches. Question 56. What is the name of the traditional Irish dance often performed at day celebrations? A. Irish, B. Highland Fling, C. Dance, D. Maypole Dance. Answers is A. Irish. Irish is a traditional form of dance that in Ireland and is particularly associated with celebrations like Day, known for its intricate footwork. Question 57. In which year did the join the European Economic Community, a predecessor of the A. 1973, B. 1960, C. 1985, D. 1993? Answers is A. 1973. The joined the European Economic Community, the precursor to the European Union, in 1973 alongside Denmark and Ireland. Question 58. What is the collective term for the England, Scotland and Wales? A. Great Britain, B. The United Kingdom, C. The British, D. Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. Answers is A. Great Britain. Great Britain refers to the island comprising England, Scotland and Wales. The United Kingdom includes Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Question 59. Which major war involved the D-Day landings in Normandy in 1944? A. The Second World War, B. The First World War, C. The Crimean War, D. The American War of Independence. Answers is A. The Second World War. D-Day, the Allied invasion of Normandy on 6 June 1944, was a critical turning point in the Second World War, opening a vital Western front against Nazi Germany. Question 60. What is the minimum age to be eligible for jury service in the A. 18, B. 21, C. 25, D. 16? Answers is A. 18. To be eligible for jury service in the A person must be on the electoral register, be aged 18 to 75, and have been resident in the for at least 5 years since their birthday. Question 61. Which famous scientist developed the laws of motion and universal gravitation? A. Isaac Newton, B. Albert Einstein, C. Galileo, D. Curie. Answers is A. Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton, an English physicist and mathematician, is widely recognized for his work on the laws of motion and universal gravitation, as well as developing calculus. Question 62. What is the traditional dance style of Scotland? A. Highland dancing, B. Dancing, C. Ceilidh dancing, D. Tap dancing. Answers is A. Highland dancing. Highland dancing, by its energetic movements and specific attire, is a traditional and competitive dance form from the Scottish Highlands. Ceilidh dancing is a social form of Scottish dance. Question 63. Which British institution is responsible for maintaining law and order? A. The police, B. The army, C. The courts, D. The government. Answers is A. The police. The police force in the is primarily responsible for enforcing laws, preventing crime and maintaining public order, with various police forces operating across the country. Question 64. What is the name of the main legislative body in Northern Ireland? A. The Northern Ireland Assembly, B. The Northern Ireland Parliament, C. House, D. The Ulster Assembly. Answers is A. The Northern Ireland Assembly. The Northern Ireland Assembly, based at Parliament Buildings in Belfast, is the devolved legislature for Northern Ireland, with powers to legislate on many matters. Question 65. Which major sporting event involves boats racing along the River Thames between Oxford and Cambridge? A. The boat race, B. Henley Royal Regatta, C. The London Marathon, D. Royal Ascot. Answers is A. The boat race. The boat race is an annual rowing race between the Oxford University Boat Club and the Cambridge University Boat Club crews, rowed along the River Thames in London. Question 66. Who was the monarch during the English Civil War? A. Charles I. B. Henry, C. Elizabeth I. D. James. Answers is A. Charles I. King Charles I was the monarch during the English Civil War, a conflict between parliamentarians and over the manner of England's governance, which ultimately led to his execution. Question 67. What is the name of the annual music festival held in England? A. Glastonbury Festival, B. Reading Festival, C. Isle of Wight Festival, D. Download Festival. Answers is A. Glastonbury Festival. Glastonbury Festival of Contemporary Performing Arts, commonly known as Glastonbury, is a festival of contemporary performing arts that takes place in England. Question 68. Which famous British architect designed cathedral? A. Christopher Wren, B. Jones, C. Robert Adam, D. John Nash. Answers is A. Christopher Wren. Sir Christopher Wren was an English architect, astronomer and polymath who designed 52 London churches after the Great Fire in 1666, including his masterpiece, Cathedral. Question 69. What is the official currency of the United Kingdom? A. Pound sterling, B. Euro, C. Dollar, D. Shilling. Answers is A. Pound sterling. The pound sterling is the official currency of the United Kingdom and it's associated. It is one of the oldest in the world. Question 70. When do Remembrance Day commemorations take place in the A. 11 November, B. 8 May, C. 6 June, D. 25 December? Answers is A. 11 November. Remembrance Day is observed on 11 November each year to commemorate the sacrifice of members of the armed forces and civilians in times of war, specifically since the First World War. Question 71. Which famous Scottish scientist invented the television? A. John, B. Alexander Graham Bell, C. James Clerk Maxwell, D. Robert. Answers is A. John. John was a Scottish inventor, electrical engineer, and innovator, who the world's first working television system on 26 January 1926. Question 72. What is the name of the traditional British sweet dish made of fruit, often topped with a baked crumble mixture? A. Crumble, B. Scone, C. Eton mess, D. Treacle tart. Answers is A. Crumble. A crumble, often served with custard or cream, is a popular British dessert consisting of stewed fruit, such as apples, or covered with a crumbly topping of flour, butter, and sugar. Question 73. Which of these is a famous British landmark in Wiltshire, consisting of large standing stones? A. Stonehenge, B. Hadrian's Wall, C. Windsor Castle, D. White Cliffs of Dover. Answers is A. Stonehenge. Stonehenge is a prehistoric monument in Wiltshire, England, consisting of a ring of standing stones, to have been built around 2500. Question 74. What is the primary role of the House of Lords? A. To scrutinise bills and hold government to account, B. To initiate money bills, C. To elect the Prime Minister, D. To represent specific. Answers is A. To scrutinise bills and hold government to account. The House of Lords primarily acts as a revising chamber, scrutinising bills passed by the House of Commons, debating legislation, and holding the government accountable. Question 75. Which British scientist discovered penicillin? A. Alexander Fleming, B. Louis, C. Edward, D. Robert. Answers is A. Alexander Fleming. Sir Alexander Fleming, a Scottish physician and microbiologist, is best known for his discovery of penicillin in 1928, for which he shared the Nobel Prize in Medicine. Question 76. What is the national animal of Scotland? A. Unicorn, B. Lion, C. Dragon, D. Bulldog. Answers is A. Unicorn. The unicorn has been the national animal of Scotland since the century. It is a symbol of purity, innocence, power, and freedom. Question 77. What is the name of the highest court? A. The Supreme Court, B. The High Court, C. The Crown Court, D. The Court of Appeal. Answers is A. The Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the final court of appeal for civil cases, and for criminal cases from England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. It also hears cases of the greatest public and constitutional importance. Question 78. Which British writer is famous for his detective stories featuring Sherlock Holmes? A. Arthur, B. Christie, C. Charles Dickens, D. Fleming. Answers is A. Arthur. Sir Arthur was a Scottish writer and physician, most noted for his fictional stories about the detective Sherlock Holmes, which are generally considered milestones in the field of crime fiction. Question 79. Which major event led to the establishment of the Commonwealth of Nations? A. The decline of the British Empire. B. The end of World War I. C. The coronation of Elizabeth. D. The signing of the Charter. Answers is A. The decline of the British Empire. The Commonwealth of Nations from the British Empire, with its modern form developing as gained independence, but chose to maintain ties with the and each other. Question 80. What is the purpose of paying taxes in the A. To fund public services like healthcare and education. B. To support the royal family. C. To contribute to international aid only. D. To pay off national debt primarily. Answers is A. To fund public services like healthcare and education. Taxes paid by citizens and businesses in the are used to fund essential public services, including the National Health Service, education, defence and social welfare programs. Question 81. Which famous British fashion designer is known for creating the A. Mary Quant, B. Westwood, C. Alexander, D. Stella? Answers is A. Mary Quant. Mary Quant, a British fashion designer, is widely credited with inventing the and hot pants in the, revolutionising women's fashion. Question 82. Which British city is known as the birthplace of the Beatles? A. Liverpool, B. Manchester, C. London, D. Answers is A. Liverpool. Liverpool is the home city of the Beatles, one of the most famous and influential music bands of all time. Their impact on music and popular culture is immense. Question 83. What is the name of the traditional Welsh folk music festival featuring poetry and music competitions? A. Eisteddfod, B. Glastonbury, C. Fringe Festival, D. Highland Games. Answers is A. Eisteddfod. An Eisteddfod is a Welsh festival of literature, music and performance, the tradition of which dates back to at least the century. The largest is the National Eisteddfod of Wales. Question 84. What is the name of the national flag of the United Kingdom? A. Union Flag or Union Jack. B. George's Cross. C. Saltire. D. Red Dragon. Answers is A. Union Flag or Union Jack. The national flag of the United Kingdom is the Union Flag, commonly known as the Union Jack. It is a superimposition of the flags of England George's Cross, Scotland Andrew's Cross, and Northern Ireland Cross. Question 85. Which famous naval battle of the wars was fought in 1815? A. Battle of Waterloo. B. Battle of C. Battle of the Nile. D. Battle of. Answers is A. Battle of Waterloo. The Battle of Waterloo in 1815 was the decisive engagement of the wars, where a coalition defeated Napoleon Bonaparte's French army. Question 86. What is the common term for the period of social and cultural changes particularly in London? A. Swinging. B. Roaring. C. Depression era. D. Victorian age. Answers is A. Swinging. The swinging refers to a cultural revolution that in London, by optimism, innovation in fashion and music, and a rejection of traditional values. Question 87. What is the purpose of the political party system in the A. To offer choices to voters in elections, B. To represent regional interests only, C. To serve as advisors to the monarch, D. To run the civil service? Answers is A. To offer choices to voters in elections. The party system in the allows different political groups to put forward candidates for election, offering voters a choice of and representatives to govern the country. Question 88. Which famous British playwright wrote Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet? A. William Shakespeare, B. George Bernard Shaw, C. Oscar, D. Herald? Answers is A. William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare, often called England's national poet, is widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's dramatist. His works include Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet. Question 89. What is the name of the historical period in Britain when Vikings raided and settled parts of the country? A. The Viking Age, B. The Iron Age, C. The Bronze Age, D. The Roman period? Answers is A. The Viking Age. The Viking Age in Britain refers to the period from the late to the century when Norse explorers, warriors, merchants and pirates raided and then settled in parts of Britain, establishing areas like the Danelaw. Question 90. What is the capital city of Northern Ireland? A. Belfast, B. C. D. Armagh? Answers is A. Belfast. Belfast is the capital and largest city of Northern Ireland. It is a major industrial and economic centre. Question 91. Which popular British dish consists of battered fish and potato chips? A. Fish and chips, B. Shepherd's pie, C. And mash, D. Chicken tikka masala? Answers is A. Fish and chips. Fish and chips is a popular hot dish of English origin, consisting of fried battered fish and hot potato chips, often served as a takeaway meal. Question 92. What is the name of the institution responsible for issuing passports to citizens? A. His Majesty's Passport Office, B. The Home Office, C. The Foreign Office, D. The Department for Immigration? Answers is A. His Majesty's Passport Office. His Majesty's Passport Office is an agency of the Home Office responsible for issuing passports to British nationals. Question 93. Which British social reformer campaigned for better conditions for factory workers and children in the century? A. Robert Owen, B. William, C. Florence Nightingale, D. Elizabeth Fry? Answers is A. Robert Owen. Robert Owen was a Welsh social reformer and one of the founders of utopian socialism and the cooperative movement. He championed improved working conditions and education, particularly for children. Question 94. Which British victory during prevented a German invasion of Britain? A. The Battle of Britain, B. The Battle of Dunkirk, C. The Battle of D. The Battle of Midway? Answers is A. The Battle of Britain. The Battle of Britain was a pivotal air campaign fought in 1940. where the Royal Air Force successfully defended the United Kingdom against large-scale attacks by Nazi Germany's Air Force Luftwaffe, thwarting a planned invasion. Question 95. What is the national flower of Northern Ireland? A. Shamrock, B. Thistle, C. Rose, D. Daffodil. Answers is A. Shamrock. The shamrock, a clover, is the national emblem of Ireland and by extension is widely associated with Northern Ireland as well as the Republic of Ireland, particularly on Day. Question 96. Which famous British author wrote Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility? A. Jane, B. Charlotte, C. George, D. Virginia Woolf. Answers is A. Jane. Jane was an English novelist known primarily for her 6 major novels, which interpret, critique and comment upon the British landed gentry at the end of the century. Her works include Pride and Prejudice. Question 97. What is the name of the annual horse racing event in Liverpool, famous for its Grand National Race? A. B. Ascot, C. D. Answers is A. Racecourse in Liverpool is home to the Grand National, a famous national hunt horse race known for its challenging fences and long distance. Question 98. Which historical figure led the parliamentarian forces during the English Civil War and became Lord Protector? A. Oliver, B. King Charles, C. Sir Francis Bacon, D. Guy. Answers is A. Oliver. Oliver was a key military and political leader during the English Civil War, commanding the New Model Army. After the execution of King Charles I, he became Lord Protector of the Commonwealth of England, Scotland and Ireland. Question 99. What is the name of the annual festival in Scotland that celebrates traditional Highland culture and sports? A. Highland Games, B. Fringe Festival, C. Celtic Connections, D. Answers is A. Highland Games. The Highland Games are events held throughout Scotland and other with a Scottish diaspora, celebrating Scottish and Celtic culture and heritage, especially through athletic competitions and traditional music and dance. Question 100. Which British Prime Minister oversaw the end of the British Empire and the beginning of the Commonwealth? A. Clement, B. Churchill, C. Harold, D. Eden. Answers is A. Clement. Clement, Prime Minister from 1945 to 1951, over the dismantling of the British Empire, granting independence to many former, and shaping the modern Commonwealth of Nations. Question 101. What is the approximate length of the longest river in the River Severn? A. 354 kilometers, B. 250 kilometers, C. 400 kilometers, D. 300 kilometers. Answers is A. 354 kilometers. The River Severn is the longest river in Great Britain, flowing for approximately 354 kilometers, 220 miles from its source in Wales to the Bristol Channel. Question 102. Which famous English children's author wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? A. Dahl, B. J. K. C. Lewis, D. A. A. Answers is A. Dahl. Dahl was a British novelist, short story writer, poet and screenwriter. His books for children include James and the Giant Peach, Matilda and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Question 103. What is the name of the traditional British ceremony where the monarch opens Parliament? A. State opening of Parliament. B. Trooping the colour. C. Prorogation ceremony. D. Lord Mayor's show. Answers is A. State opening of Parliament. The State opening of Parliament is an annual ceremony that formally marks the start of a new session of the Parliament of the United Kingdom. The monarch delivers a speech outlining the government's agenda. Question 104. Which British institution protects and promotes the interests of consumers? A. Advice. B. The Financial Conduct Authority. C. D. The Competition and Authority. Answers is A. Advice. Advice is a network of independent throughout that provide free, confidential information and advice to help people with legal, debt, consumer, housing and other problems. Question 105. Which famous female British nurse is considered the founder of modern nursing? A. Florence Nightingale. B. Elizabeth. C. Mary. D. Answers is A. Florence Nightingale. Florence Nightingale was a British social reformer, statistician, and the founder of modern nursing. She became prominent during the Crimean War for her work tending to wounded soldiers. Question 106. What is the name given to the historical period of political and social unrest in Northern Ireland from the late to 1998? A. The Troubles. B. The Irish War of Independence. C. The Civil Rights Movement. D. The Anglo-Irish Conflict. Answers is A. The Troubles. The Troubles was a period of conflict in Northern Ireland that lasted for about 30 years from the late until the signing of the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. Question 107. Which British sport involves teams trying to get an oval ball over a try line? A. Rugby. B. Football. C. Basketball. D. Hockey. Answers is A. Rugby. Rugby, originating in England, is a popular team sport where players carry, pass, or kick an oval ball, aiming to score by grounding it beyond their opponent's try line or kicking it through posts. Question 108. What is the name of the royal residence in Scotland? A. B. Balmoral Castle. C. Edinburgh Castle. D. Stirling Castle. Answers is A. The palace of, commonly referred to as, is the official residence of the monarch in Scotland. Balmoral Castle is a private residence in Scotland. Question 109. Which British institution is responsible for setting interest rates? A. The Bank of England. B. The Treasury. C. The Financial Conduct Authority. D. The London Stock Exchange. Answers is A. The Bank of England. The Bank of England, the central bank of the United Kingdom, is responsible for maintaining monetary stability and sets the base interest rate for the economy. Question 110. When is Andrews Day celebrated in Scotland? A. 30 November. B. 25 January. C. 1 March. D. 23 April. Answers is A. 30 November. Andrews Day, the National Day of Scotland, is celebrated annually on 30 November in honour of St. Andrew, the patron saint of Scotland. Question 111. Which Roman emperor visited Britain and the conquest of southern Britain? A. Claudius, B. Julius Caesar, C. Hadrian, D. Nero. Answers is A. Claudius. Emperor Claudius oversaw the full-scale Roman invasion and conquest of southern Britain in 43 AD, establishing it as a Roman province. Question 112. What is the traditional British baked good, often served with jam and cream, particularly in the southwest of England? A. Scone, B. Crumpet, C. Muffin, D. Pancake. Answers is A. Scone. A scone is a British baked good, typically made of wheat, barley or oatmeal with baking powder, as a leavening agent and traditionally served with jam and clotted cream, especially as part of a cream tea. Question 113. Who was the English king who unified the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms against the Vikings and learning? A. Alfred the Great, B. King Canute, C. Edward the Confessor, D. William the Conqueror. Answers is A. Alfred the Great. Alfred the Great was King of Wessex from 871 to 899. He successfully defended his kingdom against the Viking attempts at conquest, and by the time of his death had become the dominant ruler in England. Question 114. What is the name of the British festival that celebrates the birthday of the monarch, typically in June? A. Trooping the Colour, B. The Lord Mayor's Show, C. Remembrance Day Parade, D. The Edinburgh Military Tattoo. Answers is A. Trooping the Colour. Trooping the Colour is a parade held annually in London to mark the official birthday of the British sovereign. The parade typically involves over 400 parading soldiers, 200 horses, and 400 musicians. Question 115. Which famous British children's author? A. B. Lewis, C. J. M. D. Enid. Answers is A. A. was an English author, best known for his books about the teddy bear and for various poems. His stories have generations of children. Question 116. What is the official residence of the Prime Minister of the A. 10 Downing Street, B. Palace, C. Windsor Castle, D. The Palace of Westminster? Answers is A. 10 Downing Street. Number 10 Downing Street, often referred to simply as Number 10, is the headquarters of the Government of the United Kingdom and the official residence and workplace of the Prime Minister. Question 117. Which major event led to the growth of factories in Britain in the end? A. The Industrial Revolution, B. The Glorious Revolution, C. The Agricultural Revolution, D. The Renaissance. Answers is A. The Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution dramatically transformed British society, leading to mass urbanization, the establishment of factories, and major advancements in technology and manufacturing. Question 118. What is the name of the traditional Welsh folk costume, sometimes worn on David's Day? A. Welsh lady costume, B. Kilt, C. Tartan, D. Shamrock dress. Answers is A. Welsh lady costume. The traditional Welsh lady costume, often associated with a tall hat and shawl, is sometimes worn by women and girls on David's Day as a symbol of Welsh national identity. Question 119. What is the name of the British broadcasting organisation that provides public service television and radio? A. British Broadcasting Corporation. B. Independent Television. C. Channel 4. D. Sky. Answers is A. British Broadcasting Corporation. The British Broadcasting Corporation is a British public service broadcaster, funded by the licence fee. It is the world's oldest national broadcasting organisation and the largest broadcaster in the world by number of employees. Question 120. What is the maximum penalty for not serving on a jury if selected and not excused? A. A fine or imprisonment. B. Community service. C. A warning. D. Revocation of citizenship. Answers is A. A fine or imprisonment. Jury service is a civic duty, and failure to attend or refusal to serve without a valid reason can result in a fine or even imprisonment for contempt of court. Question 121. Which British scientist is famous for the structure of A. Francis Crick, B. Franklin, C. James Watson, D. Answers is A. Francis Crick. Francis Crick, an English molecular biologist, physiologist and neuroscientist, was one of the structure of the molecule in 1953, along with James Watson. Question 122. Which famous Scottish landmark is a large loch associated with a mythical creature? A. Loch Ness, B. Loch, C. Loch or D. Loch. Answers is A. Loch Ness. Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands is best known for alleged sightings of the Loch Ness Monster, affectionately known as. Question 123. What is the name of the traditional New Year's Eve celebration in Scotland? A. Hogmanay, B. Guy Night, C. Up Helly R, D. Burns Night. Answers is A. Hogmanay. Hogmanay is the Scots word for New Year's Eve, traditionally celebrated with great enthusiasm in Scotland, with customs such as first-footing and singing Old Sign. Question 124. What is the name of the democratic process by which citizens elect their representatives to Parliament? A. General election, B. Referendum, C. By-election, D. Local election. Answers is A. General election. A general election is held to choose members of Parliament for the House of Commons. These represent and form the government. Question 125. Which British author wrote Harry Potter series? A. J.K., B. C.S. Lewis, C. Philip Pullman, D. Enid. Answers is A. J.K. J.K. is a British author, philanthropist, film producer and screenwriter. She is best known for writing the Harry Potter fantasy series, which has won multiple awards and sold more than 500 million. Question 126. What is the name of the traditional English folk dance often performed with bells and handkerchiefs? A. Dance, B. Highland Fling, C. Maypole Dance, D. Reel. Answers is A. Dance. Dance is a form of English folk dance usually accompanied by music. It is based on rhythmic stepping and the execution of figures by a group of dancers, typically using bells and handkerchiefs. Question 127. Which British institution is responsible for compiling statistics about the population and economy? A. Office for National Statistics, B. Home Treasury, C. The National Audit Office, D. The Bank of England. Answers is A. Office for National Statistics. The Office for National Statistics is the executive office of the Statistics Authority, responsible for collecting and publishing statistics related to the economy, population, and society of the. Question 128. When is David's Day celebrated in Wales? A. 1 March, B. 17 March, C. 23 April, D. 30 November. Answers is A. 1 March. David's Day is the feast day of Saint David, the patron saint of Wales, and falls on 1 March each year. Question 129. Which British invention revolutionized global communication in the century? A. The electric telegraph, B. The telephone, C. The radio, D. The internet. Answers is A. The electric telegraph. The electric telegraph, developed by British inventors like William and Charles Wheatstone, allowed for communication and significantly impacted trade, journalism, and military strategy. Question 130. What is the name of the famous British Art Museum in London, known for its extensive collection of world art? A. The British Museum, B. Tate Modern, C. National Gallery, D. Victoria and Albert Museum. Answers is A. The British Museum. The British Museum in London is a museum dedicated to human history, art, and culture. Its permanent collection houses over 8 million works. Question 131. Which major event in 1969 saw British troops deployed to Northern Ireland? A. Start of the Troubles, B. The Easter Rising, C. The Partition of Ireland, D. The Battle of the. Answers is A. Start of the Troubles. In August 1969, British troops were deployed to Northern Ireland in response to escalating civil unrest and sectarian violence, marking a significant escalation in what became known as the Troubles. Question 132. Which British institution is responsible for national defence? A. The Ministry of Defence, B. The Home Office, C. The Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, D. The Cabinet Office. Answers is A. The Ministry of Defence. The Ministry of Defence (MAD) is the government department responsible for implementing the defence policy set by Her Majesty's government, and is the headquarters of the British Armed Forces. Question 133. What is the name of the body that reviews and advises on changes to the Constitution? A. The House of Lords, B. The Supreme Court, C. The Privy Council, D. The Speaker's Committee. Answers is A. The House of Lords. While not a single body with ultimate authority, the House of Lords plays a significant role in scrutinising proposed constitutional changes due to its function as a revising chamber and its status, acting as a check on the Commons. Question 134. Which famous British physicist and cosmologist wrote A Brief History of Time? A. Stephen Hawking, B. Cox, C. Carl Sagan, D. Moore. Answers is A. Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking was a renowned British theoretical physicist and cosmologist. His book A Brief History of Time, published in 1988, became an international bestseller, making complex scientific concepts accessible to a wide audience. Question 135. What is the name of the ancient monument in Wiltshire, famous for its chalk white horse carvings? A. White Horse, B. White Horse, C. White Horse, D. Long Man of Wilmington. Answers is A. White Horse. The white horse is a prehistoric hill figure, a large chalk figure of a horse, cut into the turf of White Horse Hill in the English civil parish of historically Berkshire. Question 136. Which significant cultural event in 2012 British arts, sport and creativity to the world? A. The London Olympic and Paralympic Games, B. The Commonwealth Games, C. The Millennium Dome Exhibition, D. The Festival of Britain. Answers is A. The London Olympic and Paralympic Games. The London 2012 Olympic and Paralympic Games were a major international event that British culture, sport and creativity to a global audience, with critically acclaimed opening and closing. Question 137. What is the name of the famous Scottish philosopher known for his work on empiricism and skepticism? A. David, B. Adam Smith, C. John D. Answers is A. David. David was a Scottish Enlightenment philosopher, historian, economist, librarian and essayist, who is best known today for his highly influential system of philosophical empiricism, skepticism and naturalism. Question 138. What is the official title for the person who presides over the House of Commons debates? A. The Speaker, B. The Lord Speaker, C. The Prime Minister, D. The Clerk of the House. Answers is A. The Speaker. The Speaker is the presiding officer of the House of Commons. They are responsible for maintaining order, regulating debate, and applying the rules of the House. Question 139. Which British institution is responsible for maintaining the standards of the civil service? A. The Civil Service Commission, B. The Cabinet Office, C. The Public Administration Committee, D. The Institute for Government. Answers is A. The Civil Service Commission. The Civil Service Commission safeguards the principle of selection on merit on the basis of fair and open competition and helps to ensure the civil service is effective and efficient. Question 140. What is the name of the traditional Welsh soup often made with leeks and potatoes? A. Col, B. Scotch broth, C. Cockaliki, D. Mulligatawny. Answers is A. Col. Col is a traditional Welsh soup or stew, considered a national dish of Wales. Historically, it was a nourishing broth made with meat and any available vegetables, most commonly leeks and potatoes. Question 141. Which British composer is famous for writing the music for the James Bond films? A. John Barry, B. Andrew, C. Hans, D. Norman. Answers is A. John Barry. While Norman wrote the iconic James Bond theme, John Barry composed the scores for 11 James Bond films, shaping the distinctive musical style of the franchise. Question 142. What is the name of the royal castle in Berkshire, England, often used as a weekend retreat by the monarch? A. Windsor Castle, B. Balmoral Castle, C. House, D. Hampton Court Palace. Answers is A. Windsor Castle. Windsor Castle in Berkshire is the oldest and largest inhabited castle in the world and has been a royal residence for over 900 years. It is often used by the monarch for private weekends. Question 143. Which British social convention dictates forming queues for services? A. Queuing culture. B. C. Politeness norms. D. British etiquette. Answers is A. Queuing culture. The queuing culture is a British social convention where people form orderly lines and wait their turn for services, transport, or entry, and breaking the queue is often considered rude. Question 144. What is the name of the annual boat race along the River Thames, featuring decorated barges? A. Coat and Badge Race. B. The Great River Race. C. The Henley Regatta. D. The Oxford and Cambridge Boat Race. Answers is A. Coat and Badge Race. Coat and Badge Race is the oldest continually staged sporting event in the world, an annual rowing race on the River Thames contested by professional watermen. Question 145. Which British Prime Minister abolished slavery in the British Empire in 1833? A. Lord Grey. B. William Pitt the Younger. C. Robert Peel. D. Benjamin. Answers is A. Lord Grey. The Slavery Abolition Act 1833, which abolished slavery throughout the British Empire, was passed during the Whig government led by Prime Minister Lord Grey. Question 146. What is the name of the body that handles complaints against the police in England and Wales? A. Independent Office for Police Conduct. B. Police Complaints Authority. C. Crown Prosecution Service. D. Ombudsman Service. Answers is A. Independent Office for Police Conduct. The Independent Office for Police Conduct oversees the police complaints system in England and Wales. It investigates the most serious matters, including deaths and serious involving the police. Question 147. Which British landmark is a prehistoric monument in Avebury, Wiltshire, similar to Stonehenge but larger? A. Avebury Stone Circle. B. Walls. C. Hill. D. Maiden Castle. Answers is A. Avebury Stone Circle. Avebury Stone Circle in Wiltshire is a Neolithic henge monument containing 3 stone circles. It is one of the largest and most impressive prehistoric sites in Britain, even larger than Stonehenge. Question 148. What is the name of the traditional British sweet made of hardened treacle or molasses? A. Toffee. B. Fudge. C. Tablet. D. Nougat. Answers is A. Toffee. Toffee is a confection made by boiling sugar or molasses, or both with butter, and sometimes flour. The mixture is heated until it reaches the hard crack stage, then cooled and hardened. Question 149. Which British monarch united the thrones of England and Scotland in 1603? A. James I. James of Scotland. B. Elizabeth I. C. Charles. D. William. Answers is A. James I. James of Scotland. In 1603, James of Scotland inherited the English throne upon the death of Elizabeth I, thus becoming James I of England. This event is known as the Union of the Crowns. Question 150. What is the official patron saint of England? A. St. George. B. St. Andrew. C. St. D. St. David. Answers is A. St. George. St. George is the patron saint of England, and George's Day is celebrated on 23 April. He is famously associated with the legend of slaying a dragon.